Chad Ollinger of Mystery at Blind Frog Ranch fame is known for his willingness to get a little dangerous. Recently, it's come to light that the TV personality was arrested back in November. Notably, Chad also been arrested late last year. On Mystery at Blind Frog Ranch, Ollinger has invested all that he has into the show's namesake ranch. He and his team hunt for treasure they hope is hidden in the area. However, locals claim a curse haunts the place. Chad Ollinger is Duane's son. Originally running a crop dusting business, he eventually sold it to help his father's operations on the show. He has especially become known for his diving expeditions in the quest to find treasure on the ranch. However, Chad has faced various legal troubles as of late. The TV personality had been arrested earlier this month, complete with a mugshot. According to the Pampa News, it was noted, on February 8, 2025, Chad Aaron Ollinger, 40, of Amarillo, was arrested by PPD. The charges included driving while license invalid with previous convictions and instanter for speeding going 10% or more over the limit. Notably, this isn't the first time Chad had been arrested in the Texas Panhandle in recent months. As noted by TMZ according to the publication, law enforcement at the time claimed that Chad was riding his black Harley-Davidson, only to run a red light near an unmarked police car. The officers claimed they attempted to pull him over. When that failed, this caused a brief pursuit. Allegedly, at one point, Chad attempted to flee the police on foot after leaving his motorcycle. According to law enforcement, Chad faced 2 charges of evading arrest or detention, one with a vehicle and one on foot. After being booked at a county jail, he was released after posting bond. Chad himself later spoke with TMZ over the incident. At the time he noted, "All I know is this one thing. It was a hell of a ride until I got off of that Harley crossbone." Regarding his more recent arrest, the Bull Amarillo noted that Chad was booked at the Gray County Jail. It was noted he wasn't a stranger to the area thanks to his crop dusting business, with him living in Dumas, Texas. It was also noted that it wasn't odd for Chad Ollinger to be in the area riding up and down the highways and streets of the Texas Panhandle. The publication also attributed Chad's earlier November arrest to speeding and described Chad as having a thing for speed. A distant rumble shattered the stillness over the Blackfoot Ridge. Wild yucca stalks, illuminated by the slanted headlights of a black Harley-Davidson, quivered under the weight of a restless wind. The motorcycle glided over the uneven pavement, each footfall of its engine echoing across the empty highway. In the cockpit, a lone rider, his broad silhouette familiar in form and posture, maneuvered with purposeful urgency. The dust-choked airborne no traffic save for an unmarked cruiser, parked at a slight angle, nearly hidden in shadow. The cruiser's engine hummed behind closed doors, lights dormant, a silent sentinel. Then, as if spontaneously awakened, the cruiser's lights flashed to life. In sudden contrast to the darkness, a streak of red and blue danced behind the roaring Harley. The rider did not flinch. The road stretched ahead, flanked by yawning desert and stone outcroppings that hinted at ancient secrets of the ranch he called home. The tension of the chase filled the night, a visceral pulse matching the beat of an untamed heart. At a red signal that flickered into view, the rider's bike surged forward, brushing past the line. The cruiser accelerated. The churning of tires on asphalt, the crackle of static over radio, and the rider's shifting weight wove a tense tapestry of pursuit. But the Harley pressed on, unyielding, rebellious, consumed by forward momentum. A tight alley appeared like an escape route between aged brick walls. The biker veered into it, tires screeching in protest. The alley ended in a dumpster-strewn dead end. The engine growled its last before dying. The rider, still encased in black leather and adrenaline, leaped from the seat. The bike stood like an abandoned sentinel, registration long expired, its key left in a back pocket, not a detail easily missed later in official filings. The rider sprinted, boots pounding against the alley's concrete floor. He twisted through narrow gaps, across a patch of pale grass, then into more open terrain. Yet the officers tracked him, methodical, relentless, herding his shadow toward confinement. Under a broken street lamp, silhouettes converged. The rider's stride slowed as the circle tightened. The cruiser doors opened. The quiet hum of handcuffs was louder than the earlier roar of the bike. The rider's shoulders sagged, not with resignation, but with the release of built-up kinetic tension. In the rearview mirror of the cruiser, the rider's form faded into anonymity. The charge sheet recorded evading arrest both on a vehicle and on foot. County holding in the stale air of the silenced roar of an engine was replaced by muted murmurs of other detainees, a new kind of wild. Morning on the highway days later, shadowed light broke over a straight stretch of two-lane blacktop, framed by alabaster scrub and distant mesa. A blue-shelled police unit, marked with PPD in coarse decals, watched the road. A familiarity lingered here. The rider passed this way often, during another life before treasure hunts and mysterious caverns under the Utah ranch. A sleek, dark SUV appeared, speeding past the patrol cruiser at a pace uncomfortably brisk, over 10% above the posted limit. The cruiser responded with practiced precision, toggling lights and sirens. The chase was more subtle this time, a measured dance rather than a sprinting sprint. As the cruiser approached, the SUV slowed, tires whispering over shoulder lines. The driver, a familiar figure, reached for a wallet, license in hand. But it was invalidated, flagged in systems as amber lit from prior infractions. A pause, a booking. The highway's midday hum transformed into a thrum of procedures, citations typed, prints taken, forms filed. Gray County Jail became the temporary shelter for the rider. He processed through intake, the echo of steps and doors, making the place feel colder than the open road. The charges, speeding with an invalid license, stacked against his earlier record. A judge would see him soon. Release came after posting bond, but the journey ahead remained thick with legal predicaments, freezing time even longer than the dusty roads. Hosts of the Whirlwind once more to a desert night months earlier. A similarly tense chase, similar motorcycle, the same forbidden dance with law enforcement. Letters from a lost past lay scattered in memory. Details of expired registrations, warrants, minor felonies, evading custody. That night's consequences lingered in court dockets and public whispers, reshaping reputation as much as the rocky ground reshaped footprints. Cycles and reflections, each of these moments was layered over the next. Fragments of rebellion, reckoning, resolve. The motorcycle's growl, the slanted glare of sirens, the click of handcuffs, the quiet pages of courtroom transcripts, all part of a narrative unfolding outside cameras and treasure maps developed the ranch. The cracked entrance to an underwater cave-in waits in silence. The rider's absence echoes louder in those subterranean dark rooms. While legal documents cited his recent infractions, evading arrest by motorcycle and foot, driving with invalid credentials, speeding, his physical presence left gashes in the fabric of the show. Bystanders in online threads shared barbed humor and thinly veiled concern. One joked of supernatural interference, another quipped about need for reinforcements. Comments blended satire and support, a community grappling with the real-world consequences behind a TV persona. Turning trailheads now, the rider stands at a crossroads. Beyond the courtroom's looming doors, a road forks, the path back into the chase, literal or metaphorical, or one that wanes slowly toward steadiness. The rancher's burning fever for hidden caverns and gold veins once demanded risk above all else. Now there's room to question whether adrenaline can continue to define every chapter. Even now, the roar of an engine can stir something in the blood, not necessarily recklessness, but a reminder of what drives him, of what drives any of us, to seek, to escape, to push boundaries. Yet, beneath that rests a finer urge, to pause, to pull back, to preserve what means more than chase. No dialogue trails behind these scenes, no bold declarations, no manic monologues. Instead, only the rhythm of breath, the clatter of cuffs, the beat of tires, the ache of uncertainty. A silent story told in images and actions, in charges and filings, in the places where day meets dusk, and where choices have consequences. The rider's journey continues, but these snuffed echoes of pursuit and arrest may yet become the turning point. The dust may settle, but leaves enough trail for others to follow, or to veer off into a different kind of ride altogether.